Your windows, your doors, all of your framing runs off of whether it is square from the very, very beginning. So your finished product isn't much of a finished product unless you have the level and you're using it every step of the way. So here we have the level. You can put it in all different angles, different applications here, but it's pretty simple, but it's vitally important. So, in everything that we do, we're gonna make sure that everything's plumb vertically, level horizontally. We're gonna start with the framing at the bottom, making sure that we're level here. And then once we get that, we're gonna come over here, make sure that we're plumb top to bottom.
2, 3, go. All the way.
So that when we come in and put in our walls, everything's going to fit correctly. It's going to be structurally correct, so it's going to last longer.
It should be.
We hit this though.
Right.
Everything that we do from here, the walls, the roofing, the flooring, is all going to rely on making sure that we have everything level, square, plumb. You have 3 different parts. It's basically the bubble level here is what we're looking at. So it just depends on whether we were doing plumb or level horizontally. This also obviously here has a measuring tape up top as well. So you can do your measurements and your cuts and make sure that it's plumb and level all at the same time.
You're gonna go ahead and nail one in up here, like right there.
I know it's very simple, but it's probably one of the most important tools that you'll have. The subfloor can, because it's more of a composite floor, different pieces of wood put together, can be a little bit off. You can see this rock's just a little. We could suck that down just a little, but the subfloor tends to get that way. If we come here, the very foundation of everything that we have is absolutely level, and so that's where we would check that from. This is the bubble that we're looking at here, and they've got it just right. I've built several things in my life, and if this is correct from the very beginning, everything else just runs so much smoother.
Let me, hang on a sec though. Where's that clamp? You got one?
Well, the leveler is very important when it comes to actually designing the building and getting the beams put in place. And the reason why that is because a crooked beam is a very weak beam, but a straight beam is the strongest beam you can get. And so, one of the issues that we were having earlier is one of our measurements didn't match the other when it came to the entire length of the structure. And so we couldn't figure out why that was. So one of my peers told me, try the leveler on it. So I went with the leveler and inspected every single one of the beams to make sure that it was level by checking to see if that bubble was in the middle when I lined it up against the... And so I did that to every structure, to every side. And wouldn't you know, one of the beams was not straight completely. And so we realigned it, we hammered it in, we made sure that it was straight, and then the measurements matched. I think it was like an inch difference too, because it was a pretty big difference. So once we figured that out, we were able to get it secured in place so that it wasn't as weak as it was prior to that. And so now we can start getting the roof on there and start moving on to the next project. It's crazy what a small little piece of plastic and some water and some air will be able to do for a site. If stuff was not lined up, if it wasn't structural, if it wasn't level, it over time would come crumbling down. Give it like a year, 10 years, 20 years. If your building is not straight, it's not strong. And that's one of the reasons why I love using the leveler.
Seeing something square, what it means to me, because we're building these homes and I've built other structures, is I know that it's fundamentally sound at its core and that we're not going to have to worry about certain things caving in. When it's done right, it's going to save them lots and lots of time, lots and lots of money of maintenance and upkeep. The roof is going to be something that's also going to stay structurally sound a lot longer, and that's, you know, the thing that really runs the most for a lot of home buyers, is making sure that that roof stays structurally sound, so that the roofing on top lays correctly and doesn't pull up on you. All of this, all of the using the level and making sure that it's square and sound from the very beginning is going to make sure that everything lasts as long as it possibly can.